crow-masked terror. Welcome, night owls and thrill seekers, to another tale of terror from Midnight Chills. Tonight's story will drag you deep into the chilling shadows of the forest, where nightmares wear the mask of innocence. Are you brave enough to journey into the dark? If not, now is your chance to turn back, but if you dare, grab your flashlight and keep your wits about you. Now, let's dive in. The fire crackled softly, casting long shadows against the surrounding trees. Four friends, Emily, Jake, Sarah, and Marcus, sat in a clearing, laughter and the scent of roasted marshmallows filling the cool night air. They had been planning this camping trip for months, a weekend to unwind and escape their mundane lives. But the woods they chose weren't ordinary. They were the Whispering Pines, infamous for the legend of the crow-masked boy. Whispers spoke of a child, abandoned and vengeful, who wandered the forest seeking prey. No one believed the tales. That is, until they saw him. Do you think this place is really haunted? Sarah asked, pulling her blanket tighter around her shoulders. It's just a dumb story, Jake scoffed. Probably made up to scare people like us. But as the words left his lips, an eerie stillness settled over the forest. The usual symphony of crickets and rustling leaves fell silent, replaced by an unnatural quiet. Marcus, always the skeptic, stood up. I'll prove it's all nonsense. I'll go check it out, he announced, grabbing his flashlight and heading toward the tree line. Wait. Don't go alone, Emily said nervously, but he was already swallowed by the shadows. Minutes passed, stretching into an agonizing eternity. Then, from the direction Marcus had gone, came a sound, low, guttural laughter that didn't belong to him. Marcus? Jake called, his voice shaky. There was no response. Suddenly, Marcus stumbled back into the clearing. His face was pale, his eyes wide with terror. We need to leave. Now. What happened? Emily asked, but before Marcus could answer, a small figure emerged from the darkness. It was a boy, no older than 10. He wore a tattered coat, his head crowned with a grotesque crow mask. The firelight caught the mask's glassy eyes, making them glint with a life of their own. The boy tilted his head and pointed at them with a skeletal finger. You shouldn't be here, he whispered, his voice echoing unnaturally, as though it came from the trees themselves. Is this some kind of joke? Jake asked, stepping forward. The boy didn't move, but the fire suddenly roared to life, its flames shooting higher and higher. A chorus of whispers filled the clearing, growing louder until they were deafening. Then, chaos erupted. Jake was flung backward by an unseen force, his screams echoing through the forest. The others scrambled to help, but it was as if the ground itself rose to separate them. Emily turned to run, but stopped short as the boy appeared directly in front of her, his crow mask mere inches from her face. You can't leave, he hissed. The next morning, the campsite was found empty. The tents were slashed to ribbons, the fire pit cold and untouched. Search parties combed the woods but found no trace of the four friends, only the crow mask lying in the ashes, its beak stained red. If you dare to wander into Whispering Pines, keep your flashlight close and your voice low, he doesn't like noise. And remember, some legends aren't just stories. Before you go, let me ask, would you survive a night in those woods?